Hey guys, ninth place Blue Flare placing here. Uh, the tournament I would say was very fun. It was a good time. The matches were great. The people I met were great, and I think that despite Black Wargreymon being the best, I think that Blue Flare has a lot of chops, and I think that the deck's only going to get better. So, for the eggs. For Wanyamon, draws your card on attack if you have a blue tamer out, which the whole point of the deck is to have the blue tamer out, have Kuriha out. So, Baby Dramon's too unreliable because if they just never play two, which they'll do against this deck, they will. If they know you're playing Blue Flare, they will never play a second Digimon unless they have to. And Upamon draws your card if they have a guy with no sources, but if they have X antibody, they'll have sources. So Wanyamon is the most reliable. You could put a fifth one, but I feel like it's not worth it. For the rookies, for Gaussmon, he is the best rookie for the deck. On deletion, you can play a level 4 from your hand suspended. So it just gets you your pieces out, gets you searching. Blue Flare probably more than any other deck searches, like nobody's business. The only problem is sometimes you'll hit an option, you'll hit a tamer and security, and it's bad. But at least it's on deletion, not on your turn. So even if they kill it on their turn, you can still play a guy. Gets hosed by Crimson Blaze, but what doesn't? The newest edition, Dracomon, draws you a card when you play a Blue Flare or a Dramon. And the Inherited, you can put it under the White Tamer, under the level 5s to get the Inherited. It's okay. It's not bad. It gets you a memory back. So it makes them cost one less pretty much, which is really handy when you get it, but it's just another searchable rookie. It draws you more cards. Overall, it's just a great 4 of. I've seen people running 3, and you can. To run another Sayakomon. I ran this instead of Madoki Beta because this just hoses Black Wargreymon more. They can't reduce Digivolution costs. This hoses Black Wargreymon better than Madoki Beta. I'd probably bump this up to 3 or 4. But I ran 2 in mine because I needed 2 more rookie. I had Madoki Betas, I just swapped them out. The level 4s, obviously you run 4 male Birdramon. On play, it plays Kuriha if you don't have him. But if you do have him, it grabs a level 5. Or it grabs a Metal Greymon. That or Cyber Launcher, because they both count as Metal Greymon. And on deletion save. But when attacking, that's what's important. If they have a second Digimon out, you can just freeze one of them. The card is so useful. The biggest problem I've had the entire weekend was just not seeing this card at times. Because you have other Greymon options, you do not have other male Birdramon options. Once we get EX4 comes out, we get more. The deck will be a lot smoother. But this card is the card you want to try and see every game if you can. Then obviously the Greymon. When it's on play, you look at top 4, add 2 Blue Flare. Or if you have Kuriha out, you can add a Metal Greymon back, so it gets you consistency. It's a searcher. It's 4, so it's really good at choking them out. And on the Inherited, if they have a second Digimon out, he restands, which is really good, especially with X antibody and you go into Zeeg and you can get some just big, like sometimes you're attacking 3-4 times with the same Digimon a turn. It's really good. It's really solid. And you run 2 of the starter deck Greymon because Metal Greymon doesn't say it has to be blue. It just says a Greymon. So getting this guy out for a second check against decks that don't have high security numbers, you can get 2 checks in like turn 2, which is pretty brutal. With X antibody, you can get a couple more checks in. And material save because it just says a Greymon. So really solid card, definitely 2, maybe 3 of. But I run 3 Decardramon just so I can try and see at least 1 every game. This card and Decker Greymon will save you against the Black War matchup. So you want to try and see it. 4 might be too many, might be too clunky, and 2 is probably not enough, at least. And there were games when against Jessmon, I dropped this and I drew like 5-6 cards in one turn. Like it's nuts. Solid card. My last level 4 is Kumamon. I ran 2. I would probably swap one out for another rookie. He is fine. Hybrid for game is obviously great, and he helps. Sometimes you would Digivolve him just to rip a card out to get them in Metal Greymon stun range. I would definitely keep one. I'd probably run only one run, though. Run one. And the face of the deck, run 4 of at all times, Metal Greymon. He's got Digicross 2 for a Greymon and a male Birdramon, so he costs 3 if you have both materials. On play, he gains Rush, and then if you Digicross, you can stun up to 3 other things that have less than or equal materials. This, dropping this turn 2 with another Greymon under just to get an extra check-in is insane. He just stuns, he restands if you have the blue Greymon, and he is just infinitely recurable. This is honestly the best card in the deck, no contest. He's an absolute beast, and you want to see this every single game. The next level 5 is the Metal Greymon Cyber Launcher. This one, much like Decker Gray, are mode switches, so they can evolve off a blue level 5 for 2, so you go into Metal Greymon, and then you go into this for 2. This one's treated as Metal Greymon and Cyberdramon, which is important. He's got Armor Purge, so if he would die, you just take him off instead. But on player when Digivolving, you can put a blue flare under, and then then you bottom deck a level 3, which is great for Solarmon or Psychmon, because those floodgates would normally, prior to this, would just kill the deck. You couldn't do anything about it. Now you bottom deck them. And if you put a second copy under, you bottom deck a level 4 as well, because he counts as Cyberdramon. And he counts as Metal Greymon, so for the level 4s, you can, if you have Kariha out, you can on play add him back to hand to keep reusing that effect. And he's got Digicross for Metal Greymon, so you can play him for reduced cost if you have to. It's always better to just Digivolve from the Metal Greymon, but the option is always there, and that's something they have to account for. Decker Greymon is the one that'll save you in the Black War matchup. On play when Digivolve. He also has Armor Purge, also Digivolves level 5 for 2. On play when Digivolve, you can put one under to... and then if he has Deckerdramon in his stack, you stun one of their things, no restriction. So if they have just one big Black War Greymon, you can just stun it and then swing past it. Because he has Armor Purge, so even if they redirect it, you just Armor Purge. And then they use their once per turn. I run 3 just because you want to see this in that matchup. If that deck gets hit, you could probably cut it down to 2. But I think anything less than 3 right now is a little too risky. I ran 2 of this because this is honestly the spicy tech. It wasn't my deck who did it, but there was that guy who turn 2 beat a Black War Greymon by doing that and swinging for 3 checks at 11k. Prior to set 11, I would say this was just too risky, too unreliable. But with the introduction of Zeeg Greymon, when Digivolve, he gets Secure Attack +1 and 3k, and because it evolves off a Metal Greymon, you can just evolve it off of the big boy for free and draw a card and swing. But with the introduction of Zeeg, I run 2 Zeegs. With the introduction of Zeeg, you can evolve off Metal Greymon for 2, or a red level 5 for 3. So you can go off this for 3. When Digivolving, you unsuspend. Then if a card with blue flare or crosshair and it straight is in his stack, and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you gain 2 memory. So on a Metal Greymon, he can be free, and on this it can be for 1. And he keeps the 3k and Secure Attack +1. So you can get 3-4 checks in a turn. And then on deletion, you save him, and you can place a blue Greymon and blue male Birdramon. So because this would lose you your stack, and that was the worst part, because you lose all your materials. But going into this just saves it, and it keeps it really solid, really good. And the Inheritable gives your guy blocker if it's a blue flare. So you can use the Decker Greymon or the Cyber Launcher to put him under to give your stack blocker, which is really solid. I run 2 because it only goes on a Metal Greymon or a level 5. And you can't really Digicross into it. So running 3 might be a little too clunky, but I think 2 is definitely the right choice. for Kariha, obviously. Start your turn, set you to 3. You can suspend him to Digicross using materials under your Tamers. And he's a searchable because he's Blue Flare. Honestly, solid card, core of the deck, run 4 of it. But I also ran 2 of the Trio Tamer. Start a main, put a Crosser and a Blue Flare under to draw 1, gain 1. And they also have the suspend to Digicross using its materials. I didn't run Sora or Joe. I didn't run Yuya. I felt Yuya is just a little too clunky, and it's only really good against the security control matchup. You can kind of use it to go over Black or Greymon, but they probably aren't going to care. And the option protection is only good against security control. There weren't really a lot of times I wanted to play this card from hand. It's 4, it's a lot, and it doesn't really do anything when you play it. But when I had to play it from hand, it was insane. It fixed my hands, it gave me enough memory to choke them out. It's honestly not a bad card, and also being out, it forces the Black or Greymon player to, like, because if you have multiples of these out, it's like, okay, even if they kill your Christophers, you still have this. Or if they kill this, you still have the Christophers or a Digimon out. So it really forces their hand. Plus, it's a Blue Flare, unlike Sora and Joe. It's searchable. And it came in handy when I had to play it. And it's definitely good at saving you from behind. 4 Blazing. I think we will cut back to 3, which is probably fine. But so cost 5 on play. Reveal the top 6. You add 2 Blue Flares to your hand, and then if you have a Kariha still remaining, you can play him for free. So it's a 5 cost. Look at the top 6. Play a Christopher out, and then add 2, add 2 then play Christopher, which is just insane. It's probably like one of the best searching cards in the game, besides maybe Davis. And then delay. You can gain 2 memory on your next turn, which sets you up for, because Kariha sets you to 3, and then this can get you to a armor like mode switch, which is honestly really, really nuts. And then I ran this and Sorai as well. This is limited to 1, so you can only play 1. Just a solid blue staple. Makes your opponent's Digimon lose 2 memory on attack for a turn. And security gain 2 memory. Just solid card, does work. Every blue deck should be playing it. Sorai, I only cut down to as few options as I could because it doesn't really affect Black or Raymon. You can if you get it early enough, but Sorai trashes the top 4 cards of an opponent's Digimon, or Digivolution cards of a Digimon, which is important because X Antibody is the bottom card always, well, pretty much always. So it gets around the X Antibody pretty much. And even though it won't trash all of them, it'll get them in range that you can stun with Metal Greymon. But if they're going wide, it can buy you a turn, basically just preventing their Digimon from attacking. Because until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack. And activating off security is just absolutely bonkers. And it's a solid card. If Black or Greymon gets hit, you could probably run more of it. But until then, like, it sucks when they give themselves option immunity and then hit it, and it's like, okay, well. The matchups, I think, I played against 2 Grandis, 2 Seccons, Crossheart, Black War, Jessmon, and Mervamon. And they were all pretty solid matches. I 2-0'd all of them except maybe the Jessmon. I lost against one of the Seccons, 1-2. And I beat one of the Grandis 2-1. But all that was 2-0. The deck is just solid, even when you have bad hands. Most of the time, it's just a mild inconvenience. Like, the only time I actually bricked and had a completely unplayable hand was in top 32. But other than that, I was able to search my way through or draw my way out. And being able, like, BT11 has given the deck so many tools to combat what weaknesses it had before. Like the Solar Mons and the Psych Mons, you can just bottom deck them now. If your opponent wants to go tall, Decker Greymon's just there. The Trio Tamer helps unbreak your hands. I think the deck is honestly really good. I mean, you got 3 of the top 32, which is not a lot, but it's not nothing. It's a lot better than a lot of people were expecting it to. And, I mean, the deck's giant metal dinos. What more could you want? If I had to make any changes to my list, I would probably drop a Kumamon and maybe a Dracomon for 2 more Sayakos, or maybe just 1 more Sayako for the Kuma. Because Kuma came in handy, because it lets you go up to your level 5s through like a Psychomon or a Solarmon, and let you bottom deck it without needing to waste any of your Digicross pieces. And then most of the matches weren't that difficult. Like Grandis, they will be more willing to play a second Digimon, and once they do, it's game over for them. But if they don't, you can keep it stunned through the Decker Gray. Security control, you just have to pretty much just hope that they don't have anything in their security. Because the one I lost, game 2, the guy had top 2 security were 2 chaos degradations, which you can't do anything about that. Crossheart, they play multiple guys out, easy match. Jessmon, they also play multiple guys out, easy match. Ulforce, that one you have to be able to Sarai or Ice Wall or Decker Gray to stun it. Because they're perfectly fine just making one giant stack and swinging. I think BT12 is going to give the deck a lot more support, and EX4 as well. Both give the deck some crazy new tools, like Superior Mode, you can Kaiser nail it out. EX4 gives us the new Tamer that can be played off the Blazing Memory Boost. So, yeah, I think the deck is great. I would recommend everybody try it if you're interested in because you can play it more aggro if you want. You can play it more control if you want. The deck's very versatile, but also at the same time very tight and consistent. Really, day 2, first round opponent, Black or Gray. My opening hand was 2 level 6s, a level 5, a Tamer, and a level 3, and I drew into my other 3 Tamers and another level 5. Even it was bad. Even the judge was apologizing because he's like, that's rough. But overall, the event was great. The people I met were great. Shout out to David. Shout out to my boy Raphael. Big thanks to Warehouse for letting me train my skills. I'm very glad for all the people who believed in me, who are hoping for me to do well. 8-1 was insane. I was not expecting to do that well, and I'm glad I was able to live up to everyone's expectations. Hopefully we know. Hopefully it's a little closer next year, so I don't have to fly out to California. But yeah, it was great. The experience was great. I love the museum. Big shout outs to Bandai for putting on a great event. I think that's it.
All right.